seminar. Yesterday our salesman had it. So in the future, if you need any references, you can always come back to us, and we're happy to help you out with anything. But I'm very sure that you will like this seminar with Joe. It's a very good seminar on the whole spectrum of the vodka, and specifically Absolut Vodka. The seminar will take how long, Joe, today?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours, so you're just in time to run the lunch at your places, or otherwise have lunch and then go to work. I'm very sure you will appreciate it. We have a second group this afternoon also, so that means that there's a lot of interest in our market for the product of Absolut and for enhancing knowledge in general. So we're very happy with that, we're very proud of that, and I'd like to introduce Joe. Joe, please come forward, and the floor is all yours.
Applause. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll start with 2 hours, and we'll see how long we go, all right? Morning.
Morning.
Now, let me tell you, we have great vodkas in front of us. We're going to be doing the tasting of Absolut vodkas. We're going to be doing the tasting of flavors. And actually, we're going to be making some cocktails, which I'm sure, and I'm going to try to make it available for all of you, so you can all try all the cocktails we're going to be making today. All right. So we're going to have a bit of an early happy hour. All right. Now, in that sense, I think we should be more enthusiastic. So let's start again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Excellent. All right. My name is Joe Cabassa. I'm brand ambassador for Pernod Ricard brands, in particular Absolut and Chivas Regal. All right. Probably my appearance will tell you, if you haven't figured out with my accent, I'm not from Sweden, just in case, all right? You know, Absolut Vodka is from Sweden, all right? So any Swedish accent that comes through is just part of the presentation, all right? I am from Puerto Rico, all right? Anybody here speak Spanish? Excellent, right? So we have plenty of translators here, all right? English is not my first language. Obviously, it's Spanish. So if throughout the presentation there's something I say you don't understand, please ask on the spot. I'll try to say it in a different way. If not, I'll just say it in Spanish. Somebody else will translate it to you in the Papimento or Dutch or whatever language you want to hear on. At the end of the day, if you don't get it, all right, I'll just send you an email, all right? And we'll make sure you get the information, all right? Now, we'll try to keep it within 2 hours. We have a big agenda with you guys today, all right? Nonetheless, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please ask on the spot, all right? Don't leave questions until the end. We will not have a section at the end for questions and answers, all right? Besides, in my experience, people who leave questions till the end, they usually remember the question on the way home, all right? So ask the question on the spot. Obviously, today we're going to be talking about vodka, but if you have any questions about spirits in general, all right, or cocktails, please do, all right? I'll be happy to answer any questions, all right? Once again, if I don't have the answer, I will not make it up, all right? I will get the information to you later on, all right? Now, what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be dividing this training in 3 parts. First, we're going to try, all right, and get it clear, all right, or get everybody on the same page in terms of how do you make a difference between an ordinary and a premium vodka, all right? Usually, in terms of vodka, that's our first concern. How do I explain to a customer, all right, why a vodka? All right, could be ordinary. One that would be have a premium price, and then another one have a super premium price. What makes a difference in a vodka? Usually, in our business, when a spirit goes up the ranks, is usually because it's aged longer, like rum, tequila, cognac, whiskey, so on and so forth. But how do we make a difference in vodka? We're gonna explain that today. All right. Hopefully, after the training today, you'll be able to tell how to make a difference, all right, between an ordinary, a premium, and a super premium vodka, all right? For that, we're going to be doing a tasting. It's going to be a style tasting in a way where you're going to discover how, okay, or why these vodkas taste different, all right? I'm going to explain why each one of these vodkas tastes different from one another in terms of the elaboration of them, okay? Now, after that, we're going to be talking about absolute flavors, all right? So hopefully, all right, well, I'll be able to convey the information of what is an absolute flavor, how can we use them at the bar, all right, and what kind of cocktails I can do with them, okay? And at the end, obviously, we're going to finish with what we came here to do, which is making cocktails, all right? We're going to make what we call the Absolut Drinks cocktails, which is part of our new campaign, global campaign, all right? And how we can use those cocktails as a base to create new cocktails for our bars and restaurants, all right? Now, For that, I'm going to ask you for a big favor, all right? I already told you, we have great vodkas in front of us, all right? All premium, right? And we also have different flavors with juices in the back. Now, as tempting as it might be, if you listen to the explanation before we do the tasting, it's going to make that much more sense, all right? Do we agree? Fantastic. All right, so before we go on to talk about vodkas, let's do a little premise on why is it important for us to know about spirits, especially vodkas. Now, to do this, I'm just going to give you a little background of my experience, just to know, so you know where this information comes from, and maybe it makes more sense to you. When I was growing up, I never thought I'd be a bartender, like pretty much all of you, probably. All right. I actually went to college, studied electrical engineering. I have an associate degree in avionics. I fixed computers for the Navy, in the U.S. Navy for a while, all right? Which for us here makes absolutely no sense and has nothing to do with what we're going to be doing today. As I was working at a bar, as I was going to college, I worked at a bar, all right? Worked in many bars, restaurants, clubs, pretty much like many of you. But I had the chance to work at one of the most recognized franchises in the world, which is Hard Rock Cafe, which I'm sure you have one here, right? Well, for Hard Rock, I worked from barback all the way up to manager of the San Juan restaurant. But in the meantime, I worked as a corporate trainer for them. All right, I opened restaurants for the franchises in the Caribbean and South America. All right, for 5 years. All right. Now, I like this idea of doing training. All right, especially on spirits and cocktails. So at the end of the day, when I decided to take the managing job, and no offense to any managers that we have here, all right, but I hated managing a restaurant. All right, it's too much work for the pay. I mean, you get paid well, right? It's just a lot of work. And when somebody needs to stay longer, it's usually you, and you don't get paid extra. All right. So I decided to start doing training back again. All right. And I started doing seminars sponsored by spirits, and I started doing it in Latin America, Central America, South America, Caribbean. All right. Soon enough, I got asked to do trainings in Europe, the U.S., Asia. I worked for 3 years in China, Hong Kong, Thailand, Indonesia. All right. Pretty much traveled to 5 different continents, over 30 countries, and I've trained and I've done thousands of trainings all over the world in the past 13 years. Now, I tell you this, right? Not because I've been able to travel so much and get almost 2 million miles with airlines, right? But also because I've been studying service trends, cocktail trends, consumption trends, and the way to operate restaurants and bars in different countries around the world, right? And there's many differences we can learn from different places in the world. But if there's one thing that is exactly the same all over the world, doesn't matter which bar, restaurant, or club you go, any country around the world, is that if you think you're in this business to sell spirits and food, you are wrong. Our business is entertainment. That's our main business, right? Now, just to prove it, if you go to a newspaper or and open a newspaper, at least once a week, they will have an article about spirits or drinks or food, all right? Now, there's even specialized magazines nowadays. They just dedicate themselves only to spirits, wines, cocktails, all right, and food. Networks on TV, all right? If you go to the internet, you click cocktails, millions of sites will come up. Now, none of this, from newspapers to magazines to internet, none of this is for us. Most of this information is for the consumer. Right? So nowadays, the consumers can make just about any cocktail or any food they want at home.